Oh, uses for the pig are coming in. This says seasoned pork ribeyes from H-E-B are on point.
Sweet. I remember Grandma Mabel Godbolt, when I grew up in North Carolina, Greensboro.
Yeah.
First time she brought, chitlins, I had to be the dude that washed the chitlins, and that is a nasty treat right there. Only thing worse than that is me scooping up the cat poop in the litter box, and that's nasty. I've been doing that now since my wife's been away. I'm in charge of the kittens because they're too young to go outside. Those little cats can poop. I mean, I don't get it. Where does it come from? How do they poop like my big dog?
Well, they're cats. They
poop a lot. They eat, they poop, and I got to scoop it with one of those little scoopers and put it in a bag.
Don't throw up. But my son has a dog now that likes to eat out of the litter box. The Tootsie Rolls.
Just stop. Dude, that's the nastiest smell.
That's just plain nasty.
It's nasty. Poop, cat poop. I've stepped on it before in the sand, and it was on my shoe, and I almost cried. I threw the whole pair of shoes away. I didn't wash it off. I threw the shoes away. Brand new shoes, brand new sneakers.
Nasty. Ugh.
Yeah.
Sticking his head up in that litter box.
And just eating it like it's a treat. Like it's a Tootsie Roll gummy or something. You got to be kidding me.
Been trying to lick on you, get away from me, you
And by
maniac.
the way, I told you two guys, I do. If my dog goes out, I would clean up the poop. A couple years ago, I said I don't play that game.
You're one of those people that leave the poop in people's yards.
I carried the bag.
You go to the extent of carrying a bag.
Yeah.
To pick up the poop, but then you don't.
I look around.
Just turn it inside out and grab it and then pull the bag through and you're
You know
good.
what? You should be athletic enough to not step into poop. You always have to have a head on a
Can't
swivel.
always be looking down. I know you walk looking down all the time, but not all of us do that. Not all of us do that. You're like the guy at the mall doing the mall walk.
That's from doing my
Hands
head
behind your back.
Yeah, I walk like that because I'm a mall walker. That's why my head is always
Skechers.
down. Come on, man. First of all,
shoes,
my dog does not get out. So
no, he lives on acreage.
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about getting out.
So I did not know this until just now that I looked it up. I've never had chitlins, so I did not know that it is made from large intestines of a hog.
of a hog. Yeah,
Never knew it.
Now
I know when you're if you have a hog or have a pig
and
you don't have a lot of money, you want to use every part of it.
That's a rooter to the tutor.
I get it. Get it.
Yeah.
But if I have some money in my pocket, I'm not eating chitlins. That's going to be not a choice that I'm going to make.
Pig intestines?
Gross. I'll have I'll have a pork chop.
Let me tell you something. With some people, those people, some people like the chitlins. I just don't like the smell. I didn't mind eating them because I put ketchup on them when I was a kid.
Never had them, actually.
It smells like, when you wash them, it smells like somebody loaded up the toilet bowl and you just...
Oh, because it's their intestines.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a pig stuff.
And you've eaten that?
I've eaten that on numerous occasions.
For eating Tootsie Rolls? Man, that's disgusting, dude.
Oh, man. That's a delicacy at places.
That is some kind of gross.
At some places.
But
people. Not all people. You know what I'm saying? You people.
Hey, so what a game last night. Hopefully more to come this weekend. College and pro football. We're gonna make so you're lock 'em in picks of the week. You're already 0-1 because you had the Cowboys last night. The Buccaneers.
Yes, I did.
And the points. So 0-1.
Yes.
But you're taking TCU, the Horned Frogs.
Yeah, man.
Over the Cal Bears.
Yes.
And in Fort Worth tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what's your other lock it in pick?
The San
49ers?
Francisco 49ers.
In the NFL, playing in Motown against the Detroit Lions.
I'm not buying that Dan Campbell bite your kneecaps and all that stuff.
Not either.
You're not buying that,
I'm not
are
a
you?
big fan of that.
I keep hearing the NFL people talk about that. All he's going to do is this old-fashioned run the ball.
I'm not one to judge a book by its cover. Well, I am, but sometimes an introductory press conference can reveal a lot about where we're going here, right? I mean, remember when
like Mike Tice when he used to talk all the time.
Yeah, Mike Tice was introduced as the coach of the Vikings. You're like, ooh, Adam Gase with the Jets. Remember when his eyes were going everywhere? You're like, dude, we just hired a psychopath to coach our football team, and it turned out to not go good.
That's right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
And I'm just, I'm out on. I know Dan Campbell was someone you recruited while coaching, and he's from the state of Texas, and he's a good old boy. I liked him as a player, with
Aggie,
the Aggies.
good Aggie.
God, in the NFL, he seems like he's a good assistant coach, but I don't know, man. The head guy. And up against...
I love Jim Turner, too, down at Texas State, but if you told me he was going to end up being a head coach,
yeah,
I'm not buying.
I'm kind of the same. You got to stay in your lane.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, been wrong many times, and we could be wrong. But I'm with you on that because I think San Francisco's a powerhouse team. And what is the line on that, though, by the way, so I can write this down? It's currently sitting at 6 and 8.5.
Yeah, it's probably going to get to 9 or 10.
Well, where are you taking it?
I'm taking it. Let's take it at 9 because it's going up.
I'm giving you 8.5. We're going to give you the hook.
All right.
Under 9. 8.5. But you think it's 49ers by 10 or more?
Yes.
With a dominant running game. Be interesting to watch.
We'll see what they do with the quarterbacks.
Yeah, do they get Trey Lance in there? Is all Jimmy Garoppolo all the time? They seem to have that power running game, and they're healthy, right? Brandon Ayuk now with Deebo Samuel on the outside. George Kittle is healthy. Offensive line healthy. And then how do they use – and by the way, don't forget about the former Oklahoma then Ohio State running back Trey Sermon. They drafted him relatively early in the draft, and he and Raheem Mostert could become the power of that running game. I'll be interested to see how that game plays out. But those are your 3 locks. You're 0-1. You have TCU and San Francisco. I'll give you some of my best picks here coming up. And we're going to make picks against John McClellan and the Supreme Lending Team coming up at the bottom of the hour, too, on the 5 big picks of the weekend. But can we play this for you? So after the thriller last night, what a way to start the NFL season. What a ball game. Both teams were in attack mode all night, throwing over 100 passes and, attacking secondaries. So Dak Prescott was really good last night. I think it's the best game I've ever seen him play. 403 yards, 3 touchdowns passing, just made some big-time throws. And so the NFL UK had a hot mic when Tom Brady met at the middle of the field with Dak Prescott, and I think we may be able to pick something up here. See if we can. This is actual audio from the field at Raymond James Stadium last night.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see y'all in the playoffs. You like that? I mean, it's behind it's understated. But Dak Prescott saying, hey, we'll be back. We'll get you again. We'll see you in the playoffs.
Awesome.
Did the Cowboys look like a playoff team to you last night?
Yes, they did. They look like a team that can win their division. And if they play like that, it won't be that hard. I don't think anybody will play up to that, except for maybe the Washington football team will be, but they're not going to score like that. They're not going to score. Cowboys will score against the Washington football team also.
Well,
football team they call Washington.
And look, let's be fair. The reason we were both high on the Buccaneers and made that a pick was that they're the best team in the league and they don't have a lot of holes. And but the Cowboys went in there and played toe to toe with them. And the Cowboys really should have won the game had they managed the clock a little bit better, not had a couple holding calls on that final field goal drive. If they could have, without those penalty calls, they could have milked more clock. But then they had to get themselves back into field goal range. They had to throw to get those first downs. Those penalty calls on the holding on Tyron Smith and Connor Williams were huge. But if you could have managed that last 2 minutes and made the Bucs use their timeouts and kicked a field goal at the buzzer, could have had a nice victory there. Because once Chris Godwin fumbled that ball at the 5-yard line, that was life. That was life for the Cowboys.
Yep.
But point being, if Dak stays healthy, and that offensive line gets Zach Martin back, and if they can stay healthy, that was all the positive ifs Cowboy fans were looking to see. And I do think I saw signs that the defense can actually be improved, even though they gave up a ton of yards and Tom Brady shredded the secondary. After giving up 21 first-half points, the Cowboys only gave up 10 points in the second half in that game.
I would just like to know, do they understand what they're trying to do defensively, or were they just trying to be confusing and getting themselves at times confused with some of the stuff they did? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Was it overkill, some of the different defensive formations they had? But they said they were going to use Micah Parsons in a lot of different ways.
And they did.
And he was everywhere, so maybe that was a confusing thing for me, not for them.
Well, they're still perplexing.
He was everywhere.
They're still perplexing questions for the Cowboys.
The secondary.
Well, yeah, Anthony Brown, number 30. I still think Jordan Lewis is a guy that teams can pick on.
Well, if you think they're struggling, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to look at number 35. The guy.
Yeah, well, remember, when Murphy Bunting got hurt, dislocated his elbow.
They went after this guy.
They already had the one corner down to start the game.
Right.
They got very thin, and that's where the Cowboys just said, screw the run. We're going at it.
It's going right after that guy every time.
I mean, they threw the ball. I mean, I mentioned the 23 catches for Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb combined, but the targets was greater than that. I mean, they threw at those guys like 31 times. They targeted those two players. That was 31 of the 58 passes that were thrown by Dak Prescott were targeted to those two players, and a lot of them worked. I mean, they just, the perplexing.
That guy was horrified. He was scared.
I mean, the perplexing part of the Cowboys is that you're paying that running back that much money and you don't give him the ball. I do think they just were smart not to try to run against that front. But then on the defense, you paid Jalen Smith a lot of money, and he doesn't even play much. I mean, Micah Parsons has taken his gig, and Keanu Neal was on the field a lot because that's essentially the Cowboys have two defenses. When a team is in a run-based formation, 2 tight ends in a run game, they're going with Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith against the run. But the Buccaneers didn't try to run last night either, and they were in their 3 wide and 4 wide sets all night. Well, so they went to Keanu Neal at linebacker along with Micah Parsons.
I like Zeke a lot better with the little punch that he used to have. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't even know how to judge Zeke. He didn't get the ball. He had 5 touches in the first half. They tried to use him some late when they were trying to run the clock, and they were getting stoned by Vea and that crew. And
he wouldn't get any extra yards at that weight.
No, but I think there'll be better games for Zeke come other games. But who knows? I mean, he cashed in on a big check, but I can't put last night on Zeke as much as they just didn't use him.
Yeah, I mean,
he was an expensive decoy.
It just looked. I mean, he went in when they ended up kicking a field goal on the left side, 1-on-1 with a defensive back at about the 3-yard line or 2-yard line. Big Zeke would have rolled that guy right into the end zone. He would have lowered his shoulder and rolled him in. He did a hesitation where he stopped E and then tried to outrun him. I'm like, that's not like the way he plays the game. I mean, maybe that's the way he wants to play the game now. Maybe he wants to be that guy who's the elusive guy. But the powerful Zeke would take that defensive back and roll his ass right into the end zone. Well, that's what it would have been like.
We were very critical of Mike McCarthy a lot leading up to this game, and fans who listen to the show know that. So I got to give him credit. I mean, I thought he should have played his starters more in the preseason and got them ready. He had a good finger on the pulse of his team, and they were ready. They were set to play this game, and a couple of plays here and there. But I'll say it one more time. The best game they played last year was Week 1 against the Rams when they lost 20-17. It was a encouraging loss, if there's such a thing, and it was a hard-fought game, went to the wire. There were some, kind of like last night, some fourth-quarter things that were questionable by the coaches, but it would still look like, okay, that's the Rams, right? They were just in the Super Bowl. They're a playoff team. You went toe-to-toe with them. But the rest of the season was collapsed.
Yeah,
let's see where they go from here, but it certainly signs of encouragement.
Lots of folks talking about Zeke and maybe the best game they've ever seen him pick up blitzes and pass protect, but I'm not paying that guy that money to be that dude.
If that's going to be your game plan with Kellen Moore, you're going to need somebody to protect Zeke, your quarterback. I still am not worried about Zeke. I was not in favor of giving him that big contract. I still don't like it, but at the same time, I think he's been a good team player, and I think he'll have big games this year.
I do too. I mean,
but clearly he's not the engine of the offense like he was. This isn't Christian McCaffrey in Carolina.
No.
This is a passing team right now.
But is he that kind of pass catcher? Can he go and line up in the slot and really get things done?
Actions speak louder than words. The indication is that when they throw to a running back, they like to throw to Tony Pollard. Because he caught twice as many balls as Zeke did last night.
Plus, they get enough wide receivers. Why would they use him in the slot?
Yeah. Hey, so that was good. Also, let's hear Steve Sarkisian talking about Arkansas. And you might have heard this a little bit ago, but it bears repeating because I want to make get into this recruiting win for Texas yesterday. But here's Steve Sarkisian when asked yesterday why the SEC is different. Having coached in the SEC, now looking at the Big 12, what makes it different than other conferences?
I think there's a lot of big human beings in the SEC. I think they're big up front on both sides of the ball. Clearly, the tight ends have great size. I think they have really good length at corner. They've got a couple big receivers. I just think in general, it's a big man's league, and there's a style of football in that league that is a physical brand that when you cross over to play them, you have to be ready to play that style of football, or you get your ass knocked off. That's the way it goes. So you've got to come in prepared to play a physical brand of football, which is exactly how Arkansas plays. They believe in running the ball. They believe in stopping the run, and they've built a roster to do that. Even with the transfers up front on the defensive line, you can see their impact that they had last week against Rice.
Nice. Way to go, Coach. You'll get your ass knocked off, knock the D in the dirt. Come on, man. Come on,
Well,
Coach.
let me make this. Let me mention again that yesterday Texas won another recruiting battle, and this was big. Pete Kwiatkowski, the director, the defensive coordinator, and then Brandon Harris, who's the director of recruiting. They got a commitment from 6'2", 255-pound defensive end Justice Finkley, with a great name. But this is a guy that was choosing between Texas and Alabama. And he's from the state of Alabama, from Trussville, I should say, Alabama. defensive linemen.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, well, when you're winning recruiting battles head-to-head with Nick Saban, a guy Nick Saban wants as a pass rusher and as a defensive lineman, and Pete Kwiatkowski wins that, credit there. And it's when I just hear Steve Sarkisian say what he said, and I agree with him, it's a lot of big human beings. The fact that is now 8 defensive line commitments for a 21-person class right now tells you that this staff has come in on a mission to recruit big people. To recruit lines of scrimmage.
Well, yeah, that's what the offensive line coach had, a bunch of big pillars the whole time he was there at Alabama, and that's what they have on defense. They have big, good-looking guys that can move. Believe me, this group is going to want to do things besides come straight downhill. They're going to want to run counters with big guys. They got nimble feet. I mean, that's what they're looking at.
So, I mean, with this commitment, and this is a 4-star kid, friends 5-star for some people, 6'2", 255. He's in. They've also got defensive tackle Jerry Bledsoe from Marlin, Texas, 4-star player. We know they got the kid out of the state of Mississippi, the kid out of Louisiana last week. I mean, they're going into the Deep South and recruiting big line of scrimmage kind of people. They need to do the same thing on the offensive line because they only have 2. Now, they have 3 offensive line commitments in this class, including the youngster from Austin Westlake, Connor Robertson. But I like that. Remember when Steve Sarkisian, when Tom Herman's recruiting, it was a lot of DBs, a lot of receivers, a lot of skill players.
Right.
And
tall, wide receivers.
Yeah. And look, he left Steve Sarkisian some pretty good defensive linemen as is, with the guys that are up front. That's the strength of the team, according to Sark. So it's not like they didn't get anybody. I just like the mindset, and I like that they're going into this Deep South and using their recruiting ties that obviously they have from the former Alabama coaches, from Terry Joseph with his Louisiana ties. He's the new cornerbacks coach. I just think it bodes well that if you're recruiting that well on that line of scrimmage, it helps you when you get to the Southeastern Conference. You need as many of those big physical,
for sure,
dancing bears as you call them, as you can get, and they're making that a point of emphasis. That's pretty obvious, and they're winning those head-to-head recruiting battles. One with Alabama, this one with LSU last week. The kid from the state of Mississippi was down to Texas and Georgia. So that speaks well. And for those who we've had the blitzer that was talking about 3-star recruits for a while, Texas is up to number 3 now, third-ranked recruiting class for the Rivals composite for 2022. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Adding pieces. Now you got to go keep adding victories, which the Longhorns have a chance to do tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Coming back, we are going to make picks that count. The big picks, the Supreme Lending Picks for Charity. We'll give you our 5 best picks of the weekend, or at least picks in the 5 big games of the weekend. Also, we'll hear more from Steve Sarkisian, headed to enemy territory, north to Arkansas. Coming next.
It's not seeing those delays we saw earlier on the southbound side of I-35 coming out of Georgetown. So that's.
It's Bucky and Aaron.
B&E on this Friday. Busy night here on the Horn. We had a great time last night out at Pluckers. Thanks to everybody that came out for the NFL roundtable. Good discussion, good times, talking football, and then watching one hell of a football game last night. Looking forward to more this weekend. You've got high school football tonight, and you're going to make a drive. You and Super Bowl Stu Myrick.
Yes, sir. Mark Honig. All 3 of us are going to be in the
Rockwall, Texas.
Yep.
I like that. You've never been. I'm eager to hear how your experience is with, I don't want to call it East Texas, more Metroplex. It's east of Dallas. Mm-hmm. Pretty decent little ways.
Never made that trip before, so be interesting.
Yeah. Rockwall, they've produced some top-end talent. There's no doubt about that. And
then I'll be rolling back to be with Michael
tomorrow.
Scott,
Michael Scott tomorrow. At Pluckers, the Lincoln Village location is where our pregame show will emanate from, starting at 2 o'clock tomorrow. If you want to come on out, get a table, watch all the other games, and have some fun. And then Texas and Arkansas tomorrow night. Kevin Dunn will have his wingmen out there watching the game, and I'll be winging it to Arkansas.
In the stands with the people.
In the stands with the people. Should I wear a mask? I've heard that there's COVID issues in the state of Arkansas. But we're going to be with a big group of Longhorn fans.
You've had the COVIDs. You're good to go.
And the shot.
Yeah,
so
you're good to go.
We'll see. I'm excited about the experience, though. I love SEC environments are always great. This rivalry ratchets it up. It is good stuff. It's a good game. Props to Texas for scheduling it. You never know what Arkansas's, what their level is going to be when you make it. But I know Texas fans are excited to re-engage with the Razor Hogs.
Yes. We were talking about eating in Chitlins. If I could eat when I have breakfast, if I have my bacon or my eggs or whatever, if I could eat corned beef hash and my wife didn't know about it, I would. I used to love corned beef hash at breakfast time, but I always get the sodium, too much of this, too much of that treatment. And speaking of eating yesterday, it took me a while, but I got to the Whopper yesterday.
What?
Run, King, run!
You're doing a lot of fast food these days.
Well, nobody's around.
Huh?
Nobody's around. My wife's not around.
Oh, you're running to the fast
She'll
food.
be back today. So I went and had, no wonder I loved the Whopper when I was a kid. And once a month, my old man would take us, and we get that Whopper run with a Whopper fries and a chocolate shake. I had that Whopper. That damn thing was so good yesterday, E. The Whopper was delicious. I ate up the Whopper. I forgot the Whopper. They put mayo on it. I haven't had mayo on something like that, a burger. Oh, I may go back again. I may double up on the Whopper.
Dang, they delivered.
They did.
The Burger King?
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I can't even tell you the last time I had the Burger King.
You don't even remember, do you?
No, not at all. No clue the last time I had the burger.
That was good.
Right back when we were Po, and you could get like, that's what it was called.
Oh, you can get double Whopper.
Yeah, but you get like 2 Whoppers for like $3.
Yes, that's right.
And when you're a college kid, starving, you're just like, oh, that sounds good.
Or you're with Brad Kellner.
Oh yeah, well, that's his entire menu and his entire diet. By the way, how is BK doing down there?
Doing good
in the H.
He's doing good.
Do it for the H. Unfortunately for Brad Kellner, who's now down in Houston doing great sports radio, he's got to cover the Texans on Sunday. Ugh.
Oh gosh.
Ugh.
How do you talk about them on a Monday morning?
Golly. That's going to be. By the way, Lee Sterling did tell us last hour he likes the Texans to win that game. They're an underdog to Jacksonville, which is embarrassing as hell because Jacksonville went 1-15 last year. They've got a whole new coaching staff and quarterback, and they're still favored by Vegas at your place. That's embarrassing. But not embarrassing is look who just popped up on the caller ID. It's great to see his number and his name because it means it's football season and it's a Friday. He is John McClellan of Supreme Lending, and of course doing the picks for charity again this year along with ourselves here at the Horn, Coke FM. John McClellan and his team, Chris Waters and his real estate team are a part of it as well, and it's all for a great cause. We get to pick a charity and then make picks all year. John, how are you? Happy football season, my friend.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. I've been, just basking in the glow of my win last year against everybody, so...
You had a strong team last year, John. We had some weeks.
2 years in a row. That's 2 years in a row. Just want to make that clear.
Okay.
Hey, listen, our charity here at the Horn is Neighborhood Longhorns, which we're excited about. What is your charity you're playing for this year, John?
Same one as I did last year, the Seal Legacy Foundation.
That's a great one. That is a fantastic.
Well, we got some good shows here, but we've got Michael Scott and Jan from The Office making picks that tend to drag us down.
Yeah, we got some weak links over here, John.
We really do.
Is that way? Okay. Well, I'm going to have to pull up the stats next week when I call in, and we'll see what the truth is.
Yeah, well, we were the anchor leg of our team Horn last year, but we need some help from the rest of the shows here. But we're going to have some fun with it. I want to say thanks for being with us again and doing this and being a part of this because it's a lot of fun and it's for a great cause. And thanks for stepping in and stepping up. And how are things over at Supreme Lending? I know it's a crazy marketplace right now.
It is. Everything's going well, though. I've got a great staff, a great family of people that I work with, and everything's great. Interest rates are low. People are buying houses, and a lot of people are moving to Austin, Texas right now. We're trying to find homes for them.
There's no doubt about that. All right, so let's get to the picks. We do this to remind you. We got a little music for this day to remind you. We do the best college and pro games of the weekend. This week, just 2 in the college ranks, 3 in the pros, because I thought that was where the better games were in our week 1 of this. Start with the Cy-Hawk battle. This is a great one. College game day will be in Ames, Iowa tomorrow. Top 10 matchup for the first time ever. Number 9 Iowa State hosting number 10 Iowa. Bucky, we'll start with you. Who do we like in this ball game?
We like Iowa. We're picking the upset. Wrong team favored here for sure.
Ooh.
Yeah, the physical.
Really?
Yeah, the physical Hawkeyes are going to get after.
All right.
Yeah.
I'd be leaning the other side, but we're a team here. We're a team player. What do you say there, Mr. McClellan?
I'm going to Iowa State, and you can put that in the bank. Put that money right in the bank.
Okay.
Dang it. All right. This was an interesting game that I plucked. It's because I'm looking for games that are like almost pick-em games or almost a low line. It means they're great, very even because we're just picking winners. 21st ranked Utah at BYU in another in-state battle. What do you think there, John? You go first this time.
Well, I'm going to take Utah. I thought this was an interesting pick to have in our picks, so it should be an interesting game. But, yeah, we're going to go Utah.
Utah. And Buck, we make this because I could put Ohio State, Oregon on there, but
Sure.
everybody's going to Ohio State if we do that,
Yes.
right? I mean, trying to get some mixed picks here to separate people from the pack. What do you say, Buck? What are we going with here?
Right, we got to go with Charlie Brewer, don't we?
With Utah?
Yeah.
Charlie Brewer, now the quarterback at Utah. At BYU, though.
That's
at
okay.
BYU.
Yeah, we'll take.
They're replacing a lot of people with the Cougars, including their quarterback, Zach Wilson, so I would agree.
Yeah, we're taking Utah.
All right, NFL, some really, really tight matchups. How about Tennessee hosting Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, noon on Sunday? Buck, who do we like in that ball game?
I'll let you take that one.
I like the Tennessee Titans.
I do.
I like the Tennessee Titans.
I agree with that.
Concerned with the new offensive coordinator, but Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, now Julio Jones, part of that receiving core with A.J. Brown, and I think an improved defense with Bud Dupree. I'm going to take Tennessee. John, what do you think?
I agree 100%, guys,
Tennessee, and then, Buck, you jump in on there. New England and Miami. The battle of the Alabama quarterbacks, Tua and Mac Jones, head-to-head. Bill Belichick, Brian Flores, one of his former defensive assistants, now head coach in Miami. Who do we like? Actually, you go first here, John McClellan. What do you think?
I like Miami. I think that's a great pick for this week at home against New England.
Rookie quarterback.
I'm going
on
Miami.
the road.
We're going to take the New England Patriots.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll take that rookie quarterback with Bill Belichick back and all those defenders that are coming back from COVID.
It's a huge game. It's a huge game in that division to start the season. It's like these conference games in college football. That's a big one because both those teams want to challenge Buffalo.
Low-scoring game, I believe.
I would agree. And then kind of a weird one, but it's an even matchup. Green Bay is at New Orleans. This game will be played in Jacksonville on the Jacksonville Jaguars home field because they're going to be down in Houston. But obviously Hurricane Ida and the damage it did to New Orleans, they're still trying to pick up the pieces there, so can't play at the Superdome. Buck, what do we like there? In Jacksonville, Green Bay v. New Orleans.
We'll take Green Bay.
Aaron,
we'll take
Diva, the drama
we'll
king?
take the Diva. Yeah, he's going to try to prove a lot this season, so we'll take him in this one.
Mr. McClellan?
My heart says New Orleans, but my brain says Green Bay.
All right, buddy. Well, there we go.
I'm taking Green Bay.
The picks are in the books, and we look forward to a fun season, John. And again, thanks for doing it. Again, John McClellan goes Iowa State, took Utah, took Tennessee, took Miami, and took Green Bay. Our pick's just a little bit different because we have taken Iowa and we have taken the New England Patriots on the road. Hey, appreciate it, John.
Thank you so much,
next
guys.
Friday, my friend.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, hook 'em.
Hook 'em. Yeah, man. John McClellan, but he puts on one heck of a tailgate. Speaking of cooking the hogs, dude, when you go to John McClellan's tailgate, it is a feast to behold. They do a big tailgate outside the stadium.
Awesome.
Golly. All right, Buck. Zay, what do you think of that Iowa State game? You could be our tiebreaker here because we haven't officially submitted our picks yet. I could make it a reversal on that. But you've liked Iowa all week, Buck.
I have. I just thought, I mean, as you say, what are game ones like? I thought they always play tough defense. And I don't like the way Iowa State plays in September. Sorry. It's still
What about
September.
Lee Sterling last hour pointing out that the big tight end Charlie Kolar didn't play? I do think Matt Campbell.
That's a difference.
I do think Matt Campbell played it tight, close to the vest. He wanted to. There's no doubt in my mind for this entire training camp they were preparing for Iowa more than even Northern Iowa.
Sure.
Kind of knowing that if we can get through Northern Iowa, we want to be at our best for Iowa. And now ESPN Game Day. Zay, where are you on that game?
I like Iowa State. I think the fact that it's in Ames means something. I think Brock Purdy, he plays better in the big games.
All right. Well, so can we flip that pick, or were you adamant on Iowa?
I'm adamant.
All right.
I'm upset. Yes.
You're sticking with it. All right.
Yes.
We will obviously grade our picks on Monday and have fun with it again next Friday. Thank you to our man John McClellan. So, Buck, we have a lot of football on the brain. Cowboys near miss last night, but it was still a loss. Still a loss. You're 0-1.
Well, unless you're like the Cowboys fans that we've listened to this morning, where they're declaring victory over Tampa Bay because they only lost by 2.
Oh,
But I think
I don't hear a lot of moral victory. I hear a lot of outrage that they didn't call pass interference on Chris Godwin
for sure
on a push off. I think they were mad at Mike McCarthy for
needed to run some clock,
late and leaving Tom Brady a minute and a half. But I put more of that on his players. His offensive line holding calls were really, really costly when you would want to be bleeding the clock and running the ball.
But I think his offensive line still played a lot better than I thought they would, for sure. And so did their quarterback. That guy looked like a top 10 quarterback for sure. I mean, he looked poised and threw some nice balls. And, Helly, if you're saying that's the best game you've ever seen him play.
That is the best complete Because, I mean, I've seen good games by Dak Prescott, but this was against the best team on the road.
And it was 400 yards.
And Tom Brady and the scene, the setting, the circumstance, I mean, all that. I mean, he was a championship-level quarterback last night.
Yep.
He left the field, and his team had the lead. And they didn't hold it, but at the end of the day, he gave them a chance to beat the best team in football, in my opinion, and between them and the Chiefs. This says, E, you're going to Arkansas? COVID is the last thing you need to worry about. Think deliverance. Come on, man.
Yeah, you got to worry. There's certain things that we're talking about what you do to the hog. They do other things with their hogs.
I'll stay in a pack of people. I'm not going to
don't get near.
I'm not going to get
Don't get confused by being a hog.
I'm not going to peel off and get all by myself. You know what I'm saying? I'll make sure I don't do that. I'll strengthen numbers will be my theory on that front. We'll be back, B&E with you. It'll be our final segment of this Friday and into the weekend. We'll tee it up for Light the Tower and the rest of the day. Reset those top stories, including some not surprising but breaking news in the world of conference realignment. It's coming next.
The Horns text line is brought to you by Specs, a Texas-sized selection of wines, spirits, finer foods, and specialty beers. Cheers to savings. It's Bucky and Aaron.
Going to have to pull up the stats because our man Jeff Howe, coming up on Light the Tower, objected with our assertion that we were the anchor leg of the Supreme Lending picks last year. I'll look at the official final numbers.
Yeah.
He objected, Your Honor.
He did.
Hey, some breaking news. We mentioned last hour at this time that the running back stars Baltimore Ravens have indeed signed Latavius Murray, who was released by the New Orleans Saints earlier this week after he refused to take a pay cut, stood his ground, and now he might be in a better situation. Give him credit. I mean, he did not take a pay cut, and now he's got some leverage because the Ravens are hurting for certain with Gus Edwards' injury on top of J.K. Dobbins and Justice Hill. So he is in the mix, in the fold there. They also signed Devontae Freeman yesterday, but the Latavius Murray is in with the Baltimore Ravens. So probably for fantasy, if you had Gus Edwards, you might want to get there and get Latavius Murray because he could emerge as a really good player for them.
Sure.
He's been a very productive player as the backup and the second guy to Alvin Kamara in New Orleans. But they went on him to take a cut, and he didn't. But it's also official on the breaking news front. The Big 12 presidents and chancellors have voted this morning to accept BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF into the conference. In the statement, the Big 12 said the four schools were approved unanimously by the 8 continuing members. So obviously Texas and Oklahoma did not have a vote in this. That's why I talk about that they're still in the conference, and they didn't get a vote on this. So this does mess with the contract. And this will lead to negotiations for the buyout and how those two schools can vacate now that these four. I do not expect ever, and we'll submit if we're wrong, but I don't expect ever to see Texas and Oklahoma playing in a conference that includes these four teams.
No, I don't either.
There is a slight chance that they could play in a conference next year that includes BYU if things don't get worked out, but I firmly believe they will.
I think this is just the one and done. Remainder of this season, and see you later next season. I don't think they'll play past this year. I don't think it'll be a 2-year deal.
In a statement released jointly, BYU announced that it will be joining the conference in 2023-24. So they're going to wait one more year. They won't be here for 2 more years.
Okay.
They could have come immediately.
Well, yeah, they can.
Because they're independent. Obviously, the other 3 schools have to work out their leaving the American Athletic Conference before they can officially join the Big 12. So
because somebody's going to have to pay somewhere else, too, probably.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's a lot of money because there's buyouts in that conference, too. They're not as severe as what Texas and Oklahoma have.
But you don't just get to walk out, right? You can't just walk out the conference and join another conference, right?
Absolutely.
Without having to not
Well, I mean, you have a contract.
pay.
You have a contract. And granting of rights and all that go into the media rights in college conferences. Texas is dealing with it, too. And, look, we talk about it a lot from the Texas perspective, obviously, and the Oklahoma perspective and the move, but good for those 4 schools. You know, whether it was Texas and Oklahoma that were holding up expansion before, or was it the other schools that were holding up Bob Bowlesby to not expand and add these teams? This is something that was much discussed, and this now makes the Big 12 firmly the 5th conference. Mm-hmm. Right? There was debate whether the Big 12 would exist beyond Texas and Oklahoma leaving. Now we know they will. There'll be a strong 12-team league that'll be very competitive in football. And, you know, with the addition of Houston, and BYU's got a real good football program traditionally. Cincinnati has a top 10 team right now. And, you know, you wonder what this does for a guy like Luke Fickell, because Luke Fickell's he's going to be in demand. Well, now he's coaching in the Power 5, and, you know, he can, you know, there's nothing. Would you rather be, you know, Cincinnati now has a chance, as an avenue even a better avenue to the college football playoff.
Yes, they do.
Right? As we talk about them recruiting those Ohio players that now Ohio State goes national to recruit, there's more top players in the Midwest that Cincinnati is luring.
A little bit more glitz for them.
Yeah, for sure. And I think they need to be pumped up. Houston is now in that conversation. Central Florida, who was an undefeated team a few years ago and claimed that they should have been in the national title picture but weren't. They now have a better avenue, and good for the rest of the Big 12, the other 8. This still be a really competitive college football conference and college basketball conference.
I love them for basketball. Yeah, they get to showcase their basketball skills for sure.
Cincinnati, very proud in basketball. Oscar Robertson, U of H.
Houston, Final Four last year.
BYU's had the Jimmy Fredette eras of the world.
Jimmy Fredette.
Remember Jimmy Fredette?
Where's Jimmy playing? Is he playing in Europe? Does he still play basketball?
China or something.
He was, I want to say he was on a summer league team this past year, but yeah, usually he's just dropping 70 in China.
Oh, it's not Jimmy. Jimmer. Remember, it's Jimmer.
Yeah, Jimmer Fredette.
Jimmer Fredette.
Playing Rick Mount, dropping 70 on fools.
Rick
back in the day.
Mount.
That's right.
Sure that's not a porn star?
No, Rick Mount. That's when Rick Mount used to battle against your guy down in Houston, the little guy, the twirler.
The twirler. Calvin Murphy?
Thank you. There you go. Right? He was a national champ twirler.
He was. Batons.
Yeah, batons. He did the batons. He was a twirler. And it used to be Rick Mount.
That's a true story, too. You could win a bar better, too, with that. Which NBA Hall of Famer
has 15 kids and twirled a baton, if you know what I mean.
At an all-American level.
No, he was like a national champ.
Are you combining that he has 15 kids and he can twirl the baton pretty well?
Yeah. Put the baton to use. But
I think more point guards should do that. Help their game.
Oh, hands.
You think so?
Hand-eye coordination.
I think if you look him up, I think you'll find out he was like one of the best in the nation as a twirler.
Oh, he was like, grand champion or something, whatever you call it.
Where do you get to be? I mean, don't you have to be in a band? Dude wasn't in a band. Where did he go to school at?
Well, in this day and age, he's 73 years old now, but in this day he'd like go on America's Got Talent or something. Trying to win his baton twirling.
And wear those bad-looking jackets and suits that he wears on TV?
And I should say, he's not in the Hall of Fame, is he?
I'm going to say no.
All-star. He was an all-star. He's in the Houston Rockets Hall of Fame. I will say that.
Come on, Nate, bring him up. Let's see. Let me get some lifetime achievements. Twirler? No?
Post, pre, and college.
Let me list them. There it is. His reputation as a twirler earned him invitations to perform at major sporting events.
There you go.
He was at the World's Fair in New York.
There you go. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing for Calvin Murphy. All right, well, I don't know where that's because of the Big 12, and now Houston's in the Big 12, and BYU's in the Big 12, Central Florida, and Cincinnati.
Nice.
Hey, Buck, enjoy your road trip. Safe travels to Rockwall.
Thank you.
Lake Travis and Rockwall tonight, right here on 104.9, part of our robust high school football Friday night coverage with our buddy Snoop Daniel and the team at Flex ATX. Vandergrift is down in San Antonio. You hear their matchup over on 101.9 and AM 1260. And, of course, the Bowie Bulldogs. Bowie Bulldogs in action tonight on 105.3 The Bat. And then, of course, if you go to the Horn app, we've got 10 other schools that you can stream their live broadcast. Get all the details at hornfm.com.
Calvin played at Niagara, which Alabama will be playing next week.
No, they're playing Mercer tomorrow. There's still 35 games that are off the board in Vegas.
Love
They're
that.
So bad. They're FCS matchups with Power 5 schools. Hey, have a great weekend, everybody. We'll come back with full stories from Fayetteville. Longhorn coverage starts tomorrow at 2 o'clock from Pluckers, the Lincoln Village location. I'll be checking in on the trip to Arkansas and back. Excited for a fun weekend. Full slate of NFL action. It should be jam-packed on a Monday. We'll be recapping with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Join us then.